to Winona, I Love You, my show where I tell you all of my favorite parts about Winona so that you might love Winona too. I'm your host, Henry B. Heron, and I'm here today with my friend, Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Henry.
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's getting colder outside, so I'm enjoying the nice fire that you started.
Well, me too. This is my first one of the season.
Well, mine too. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
You bet. Thanks for being had.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So, Jamie, tell me about yourself. What do you do?
Well, for 15 years, I've been a furniture maker and a sculptor, so an artist. But recently dove into a new endeavor of managing Prarie Island Campground, which is a local publicly owned campground. So
I think I've been there before. That's on the Mississippi River, right?
I would imagine you have. It's right on the flyway.
Yeah. I love the flyway.
Me too. Yeah, this year I got to spend a lot of time right in the flyway, so I really enjoyed that.
Oh, good. And tell me, what do you do on Prarie Island?
So we manage and operate the property in partnership with the city of Winona. So what that means is we deal with guest relations. We welcome people. We help them make their reservations. But in addition, we also program the space. So we do things like have concerts, and this year we did a pickling fest where we did fermentation. We created a public community food garden. So all those things are programming that we're bringing. We also do lots of kids events. So during the weekends and the busy weekends all summer, we do have all kinds of kids activities where they're building crafts and doing art and then also playing games with them.
Wow.
So yeah, canoeing, kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding, all of those things that are wonderful right there on that piece of property.
Wow.
It's all a really exciting thing for us. It's a piece of property that we've, my wife and I, Anne, and now our son Silas have recreated on basically our entire lives.
Sure.
So it's a really wonderful piece of property that connects to the outdoors right here in Winona, 5 minutes from downtown. Like some people, it's just, one night in and out, place to rest. Others are there for, our campfire concert series, which is something we started this year, where we have music right in the middle on a patio that's right in our community food garden.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it was really wonderful attraction that garden's become. So people come in and it welcomes them. It's the first thing they see when they come in. So they're like, what's this garden? And then when they ask and you say it's actually a community food garden, meaning that it's open to anybody to garden. It's open, and then so much food. It was so bountiful this year that we just let people graze.
Wow.
So yeah, to have a couple tomatoes and a cucumber and or whatever lettuce things were growing in there, people were just it almost blew them away.
Wow.
Then in addition, we had a amazing local artist, Celeste Sullivan, who painted a mural, a wonderful mural that goes around the fence that's around the garden.
Wow.
So that really catches people's eyes. And,
I bet.
Yeah.
I think I saw her working on that a couple times as I was flying on the flyway.
Oh, I bet you did. Yeah. It's been exciting, first year for us in there, and it was fun to see the community really get excited about that and show up and participate and help and get excited.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Tell me, Jamie, when did you move to Winona?
Well, I was born and raised in a small town right outside of Winona called Rolling Stone.
Wow. Yeah, it was very close.
Yeah, it was very close. I actually went to Winona High, Winona Senior High School.
So you're a local?
I am a local, yes. And I, right around 2001, 2, somewhere in there, I set out and went west, ended up out in California, then Washington State. We're actually working for a local company, Fastenal.
Oh, wow.
And kind of had a great opportunity to go out and check out the West Coast and work with them. And in that process, was able to travel a lot of the West, get to see a lot of wonderful things, and Hawaii was one of those. And eventually I moved to Hawaii.
Wow.
So then my wife and I spent 7 years in Hawaii and had our son Silas out there. And so in 2011, with family still here, both of our families here, we decided to move back here. And, definitely knowing that, a lot of people say, why would you leave Hawaii? But Winona's not a bad spot to come back to.
Not at all.
Pretty darn spectacular. So we came back here and got kind of really excited. My wife started teaching in schools here, Cotter High School, and then now St. Mary's University. And I got, when I was in Hawaii is when I really got into the arts. I learned the craft of furniture making and started doing sculpture. And so when we came back with the goal that that's what we'd be involved with here, initially. So set out on the next, I guess, almost 7 years doing those same arts here, sculpture and furniture making.
Wow.
So it's been an exciting ride, and then this campground came along, and here we are. So here we are. Yeah.
Well, and we're in your workshop right now, Jamie, and it looks like it's a lot of wood in here. Is most of your sculpture and furniture making with wood?
It is, yeah. That tends to be my furniture and sculpture. Both at the base is often wood. Is really at the core wood. Really familiar with the material of wood, and it's very sculptable.
Sure.
And I feel really comfortable in it, and actually inspired by it. So as I'm working with it, it doesn't tend to limit my creativity. It actually feeds it. So I've enjoyed getting that intimate with wood.
I bet. Tell me, Jamie, does living in Winona inspire your art at all?
It does, yeah. A lot of my sculpture work, I've definitely taken things that I've seen, like in the landscape in Winona, like the rocks and the bluffs and different textures of even some tree species, and things like that have really inspired my work in a textural visual aspect. But I think the thing that inspires me the most here is the enthusiasm people have had towards my work. So when you're doing something and you get positive feedback about it, it's really, really helpful moving forward. You just feel like, I think I'm doing something that inspires people or excites people, and the people in Winona have, I think, really done that for me, and I'm really appreciative of that. And I think there's a lot of excitement in Winona right now. On a lot of levels, people are just excited about some momentum that's happening. In the arts, Winona's had a wonderful, since I guess I can speak for the last seven and a half years, there's just been a lot of excitement, whether it's all the festivals and that type, and then the folks who are coming to see those things, or the folks that live here who are going to those things, are just really excited about there being a more artful space to live and place to live.
And it sounds like you're even bringing some of those arts to the campground.
Absolutely, yes. We are, as well as I think just us being there and being open to the arts coming there, So as artists approach us, I mean, by all means, we're really open to as much art as we can have there. In addition, a lot of the exciting things happening in downtown Winona. We're getting momentum, people are excited about it. More restaurants, wonderful places like your namesake, almost, the Blue Heron.
The Blue Heron, yes, I've been there.
Yes, I love that place.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll head over there at some point too, and do a couple interviews there.
Yeah.
But
yep, I've spent lots of time in that place and love it.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah.
And a great name, if I say so myself.
Maybe it's one of the best.
What? The best.
The best.
Not one of the best. The best.
I agree.
Thank you. So, when did you start woodworking?
So, as I stated, I was on the West Coast in that, as I traveled to Hawaii, I just happened to walk into a woodworking studio, and I looked at what they were making and what they were producing, and it just hit me like boom. I was like, that's what I want to do. I've always been a maker of things. I'm actually trained as a machinist, a tool and die maker, and in doing that, I was making things, tool and die, doing all of that. But then I got more into the sales and the management and all those pieces. And while that was fun and exciting and it afforded me to travel and do the things that I did, I had stopped making. I'd stopped building anything that was tangible that you could touch and see. So when I saw the furniture makers in what they would call studio furniture makers, it just hit me that that's something that I wanted to do. And fortunately, my life, I was at a place where I was able to go say, I'm moving to Hawaii to become a furniture maker. Cool. So when I landed there, I spent a little bit of time caring for myself and getting acclimated to Hawaii. But I walked into a furniture studio, and a gentleman there named Leonard Gaudreau offered a job to me to come and work with him. And that's one of the most important people in my life. He's my mentor. He taught me so many more things than furniture making. But that's certainly, what we were there doing together was making furniture. But he is a very wonderful person who opened that whole world to me and taught me a lot.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, do you spend much time thinking about your clients when you make your pieces of art?
Well, I think it's certainly a combination, because as furniture inherently has needs to have a purpose in the home. It has a utility. It has those things that I've always battled back and forth with this, like how much utility do you have to have in furniture? But by the nature of furniture, it has to have some. Sure. I feel, or else it's sculpture, sure. Just straight sculpture. So when you think about clients in that aspect, you're thinking about, well, what do they want to use it for? Where is it going to fit into their home? They have a certain aesthetic. So in that aspect, I do think about them and I do interact with them a lot. But I think like most artists, or many artists, the desire is to be able to make something and put it out to the world. And somebody in that world says, I like that, and I would, I'd be better if I had that, or my home would be better. So, and when I do those pieces, what I would call a spec piece or a speculative piece, I don't think about the client as much as an individual, as a client, but I'm certainly trying to make something that is going to appeal to somebody and that they're going to be excited about, but yet trying to make it as much about my feelings and the material that I'm working with, that relationship, as opposed to as much as the client in my relationship.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, it's been great I guess I haven't really had you here. You've had me here.
Well, it's been enjoyable having you here.
It's been great being here. Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for enjoying my first fire of the winter.
You're welcome. It's been lovely.
Yeah.
Can we open up that thing and show everyone what? See, there's been a fire in there this whole time. Look at that fire.
We gotta close her up though, or smoke out the joint.
Yeah. Well, you folks at home can't feel it, but it's warm.
It is warm. Yes.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Well, so I end each interview with this little thing that I say, where I have you look at the camera with me, and we both say, on the count of 3, Winona, I love ya. Can you say that with me?
I can say that.
Okay.
Winona?
Well, on the count of 3. One, so we can do it at the same time.
Gotcha.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Winona, I love ya.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, we will.
Flyway.
On the Flyway at Prarie Island Campground.
At Prarie Island Campground. Is there an address for that, or?
1120 Prarie Island.
1120 Prarie Island Road.
Yes.
So everyone go there.
Done.
Unless you want to tell everyone where that fishing spot is.
Why don't you tell them?
You're right. I don't want to tell them. I don't want to give up any more fish.
That's what I thought.